Welcome to Blind Dragon Gaming. You have found the Dragon Lair. This is Season 1, Episode 2 of the series of Realms with Friends. Please subscribe, like, and click the bell to get notifications of when my future videos are posted.
Is there a ladder or do I just drop? Okay. Oh my gosh. When I hit
As,
that water drop, my
I'm letting my heart rate
stomach went
come
up into
down
my
from the
brain.
excitement, we
Oh
end
my
up going
god.
into the nether.
Okay, my heart rate needs to come down now.
This is our old nether hub. We have created a new one on the roof. Watch was the creator of it, and he placed most of the blocks with Sammy's help. So in future videos, this nether hub will not be in videos. It will be the one on the roof. At this point, Sammy was still placing the cyan dye on the glowing signs so that it was easier for me to see. After some testing, we discovered cyan was the best color. As we go through the portal here, there will be a clip of better footage of the coral reef than was in my tour. I actually run around and explore a little bit. And at a later time, when I actually come back over here, I looked at the trees a little closer and realized there are some jungle trees that had cocoa beans on them. Sammy was handing out boats. She thought we might want to go into the water and explore, but I wasn't comfortable enough at that point yet to get into a boat. Because at this point, this was only like my first or second hour actually of being in a Java world and playing on Java. But the coral reef is really beautiful, so I look forward to going there and collecting some coral to use in my builds. I at first thought this area would be where I would put my starter base and start building, but I decided against it when I see the spruce forest, which is coming up now. This is a better look at the pretty stone and me struggling to figure out how to use a lever to open iron doors. You know you've had a rough day when the iron doors outsmart you. And no, I did not see the lever above the doors when I was hopping around above it. I thought that lever went to something else. I didn't realize it was connected to the doors below it. And thanks to my friend hopping up and down on it, I realized that would open the door. And I do have plans to use some amethyst because I have discovered, with help of Sammy lighting up caves under the area I pick for my base, that I do have an amethyst geode. I have not found it with my own eyes yet. Um, pun intended, very much so. Um, so yeah, I will eventually discover that and be using it. This house we're going into has the drop chute and the bubble veil to come back up for the spawners that are in the XP area where my base is, along with Dolly's and Sammy's and Ralph's. The one direction when you come off this down Vader is a double spider spawner, and that's to the left. And then when you go to the right, when you are facing the wall when you come off of it, is a zombie and spider combination spawner. You will see when I get over here that I do walk up to it, but I am very hesitant and tentative of it. Honestly, the cave spiders scare me. The regular spiders, not so much. But the cave spiders, I really do not want to mess with. And as you see, I step forward and realize how close I am and that they could possibly get me, and so I backed up immediately from it. At least I thought I was too close. I did not get attacked by one of them, but it felt like it was too close to me with my vision. And as you saw there, when Sammy was swinging, she did actually get attacked by one of the spiders while she was trying to clear out the ones that had spawned while we were there. And so as we head back to the up elevator, I told Sammy that she had fart bubbles coming off of her, which is a pretty common quote when you see the particle effects coming off of somebody in Minecraft. And so as we came back up the bubble vader, I realize it's dark out, and so I go ahead and pull out my bed, and then it's a matter of finding a spot that I can actually place my bed to sleep. And I just decide to place it on the path, and then I fix the blocks after I break my bed, because Sammy had worked so hard on making the beautiful paths around the area. And then this is back over by the pretty stone. I decide to do a little exploring, and in this clip I actually discover the area that I want to have as my base, and that is currently my base. I just fell in love with the spruce forest. It just, even though I've cleared most of it out, there will be mushroom trees that Sammy's going to create for me, and I may even try my hand at one. And also, I'm going to be replanting spruce trees around the area, and I may try making some custom trees later on. Right now, I don't have any plans at the exact second to do that, but I've thought about it. And once I find the spot that I decide is mine, I ask Sammy to come over because she's one of the two mods on our realm, and she can go into creative and pillar up and get shroom lights or any other kind of block to make as a marker. And so once I realized this was the spot and it spoke to me, I requested her to do that. And yes, the shroom lights will remain above my base unless my base ends up touching them, which it very well might. But they can always be moved up if it does. And then after I sleep the night away and she puts the marker up, I just go about starting to clear out the area around my base, what is going to be my base, and I start building a oak hut, which I still have to this day. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep it. I just may move it over and actually rebuild it around my steps going down to my mine, which is going to be under my base and going when you look out from the front entrance of my base, it will be to the left. And so I think I'm going to keep the oak little house I built, but I'm just going to move it over and redo it so it looks like it's attached to the castle that I'm working on building. And she was asking me if that was enough light, and I told her it was perfect because she put it above the tall tree so that it could be seen. And here I've pulled out the oak logs. And as I was building it in the moment, I did not have an axe, so I just did the traditional punch. And as I put the roof on, I realize now looking back at the footage that I mixed the grain direction on the logs, and that may trigger some people. But to me, I think it's a neat detail. And so I'm not going to be swapping it around or anything like that. There is one log that ends up getting placed the wrong way, which I may actually change at some point, but as of right now, I have not changed it. So as of right now, it hasn't bothered me personally enough to do anything about it. In the moment, you really don't think about which direction the grain of the logs are going. You're just trying to get your hut built for the beginning. Now, when I do move it over, I will probably make sure that they all go one direction. Or I will make the four-sided oak logs out of it. And I will make it look a little bit better. But right now it's okay and I love it how it is. So, and there's the one log going the wrong way. And I started and I'm like, nope, I'm not going to mess with it. And then I decide I'm going to just use an oak door. And so I proceed to make a crafting table and craft that. And the funny thing is, once the door is placed and I come back inside, you will notice there is a gap above the door. It literally took me a week to realize that gap was above the door and do anything about it. And when I realized it was there, I just couldn't help but laugh. I literally just cracked up laughing at it. And yes, I was struggling to place the door. I knew I needed to place it from the outside, and so it was a struggle, but I got it. It just took time. And there is the gap that I was talking about. And I do fix that gap at the point I realize it's there. And now we are back in the Nether, and I'm with Dolly at this point, and we're running around and exploring. And we decide we want to go to Watch's Plateau, or as it's called, the Mining Mountain. And so as we're going, we called it an adventure, and I dubbed it the blind leading the sighted, which we all got quite the giggle out of. But Dolly and I ended up getting there safely and getting home safely. Watch's mule, on the other hand, as you will see here, takes some damage because it follows me through the portal, but it's actually following Dolly because she had a golden carrot in her hand. And her other half, Meaty, made a sarcastic remark to her that got him in a smidge of trouble, but that's what the other half is for, is making you laugh and making you wonder why. This is going up the staircase that Watch had made from where his portal is inside the mountain, clear up to the top. And at the very top of this staircase, where the cobblestone doorway is where the top of the mountain started. And I end up walking clear up here just to get a view for this is the very top where the mountain started. And he had mined all down to where the flat is. And as we were talking to him, he explained that he's going to end up building up to build limit. And he actually has already done that at this point and put a glass platform up there so he can look down. And also he goes 8 layers at a time, and then he puts a flat space between the stairs. That way anybody that comes in and mines can just mine out 1 layer of 8, since that's as high as your pickaxe can reach. Um, and so this staircase actually does go clear down to bedrock. And along the way down, he does have a small nether wart farm. And I think he has one other little farm in there. And then he has his chest with all of his materials he's collected along the way. And I made a comment about wanting um, the cobbled deep slate. And he said, well, I have plenty of chests full of it. Take what you want. And I told him that I didn't want to take what he had until he knew if he was going to use it on his build. Because where the stone cross piece is going to basically be the shape of his build. It's the center line going both directions for it. And Watch now has all kinds of trees and beacons at his base. He has enough beacons that he has every effect you can get off of a beacon. And he has, including jump boost, and he has a glass wall around it, and you jump over that and you go down water chute to get to the bottom. So he's brought it a long way from where it is in this video. This is the beginning clip of me trying to do the Caves and Cliffs challenge, which is going from build height down to bedrock and surviving. This is a clip from Sammy's Twitch channel. She was streaming when I did this, and basically what happened was I walked up to the top of the ladder. It was a 1 high pillar, and I walked off and proceeded to plummet to my death. Death number 1 making this attempt. And here we go with the blind person struggling to get up the ladder again. And this clip, this series of three little clips in one, actually still makes my stomach drop.
I, by the way, what I did was I started recording because I want to record this in case I pull a dirt move again. He's just Wrath. Come on, come do this, dude. He can mine quartz in the Nether. Sammy doesn't want to leave. She wants to see me fall off the top again. Oh dear God. She's looking up my skirt for real. It's a dress. It's a black dress. Mm-hmm. My hair's pink, dude.
And yes, that is Sammy floating beside me. She
My
went
hair is
into
magenta. My dress is black. I
mod
have
mode,
dangly red
creative mode,
wristbands, and I
and
have black
she's
shoes on.
flying up to the top to make sure I don't walk off again.
Mm-hmm.
And when she sees I get up to the top safely, she goes down.
Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
And as you can see, I'm struggling to line up with the ladder initially.
Ah!
That is mostly due to my
I
depth
just stepped
perception.
off and I hit on the same block you did, Sammy, right in front of that hole. 2 deaths. So, okay.
And as you saw, I plummeted to my death. I went too far forward. It is a learning curve learning how to jump off a ladder and survive.
Looking up meaty. Oh, thank you. I just look up and I'm on top of the platform. I'm like, what the?
At this point, Sammy just teleported me to the top and she said, I'm going to go down to watch you come to the bottom. And I told her, I said, oh, you're going to meet me at my graveyard?
There's only one side to fall off. She built a bigger platform.
Because at this point, I didn't know if I was going to be able to actually accomplish this, but I wasn't going to give up.
Yeah, I can see where the ladder is.
Which is a very good moral for life.
So I think what I need to do is
when there's an obstacle in front of you, you give it 100% effort and you try as hard as you possibly can.
If I'm looking forward and
some things you will not succeed at, other things you will. And some things along the way of trying to succeed, you will actually learn how to do said task that you're trying to do.
Okay.
And that's what I learned with this, with help from Watch giving me a little pointer.
Yeah, I know.
And on this one, my screw up was I pushed back toward the ladder and I kept catching the ladder. And so I just dropped down to my death. And this is the time I got it. It took 4 tries, but I made it.
I'm already on the ladder too, so you can just teleport both of us. I'll just climb the ladder until. Yeah. I will all of a sudden be warped. Oh. I about walked off the edge. You mean you will beat me at my graveyard? Okay, I'm backing up so Wrath can come up so I don't clip him on my way down. Use the ender chest. What the heck?
And the reason I made the statement about clipping Wrath on the way down is we discovered earlier in the night when Sammy did it, Watch was on the ladder in creative and she clipped into him and she fell to her death. So we were being very careful, only making sure one person was on the ladder and nobody was jumping down at that point.
Okay. Okay, Wrath, while you're unloading, I'm jumping. You said watch, you said you tap forward and jump at the same time?
And Watch had decided that our prize for completing this would be we each got a shulker box for that.
Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! I did it!
Which at this point I do not think I've actually shown my skin. My skin is
Yay! Thank you, Watch.
a black dress and as you can see the tango wristband and I have magenta
You
hair.
get a green one when you survive, Wrath. How the hell do I get out of here now, Watch?
And at that point my stomach was in my throat, but I was excited because it was quite the rush.
Oh my gosh. Uh, he gave you a dyed one. Okay.